Their showdown will be played before a national television audience on CBS and the NFL Network beginning at 8:25 p.m. Sleep is overrated, particularly for the coaches, whose schedules have been so tight that defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz just about sprinted out of his weekly news conference on Tuesday after being 10 minutes late to arrive. Schwartz was in a hurry because there still were so many issues to solve with his unit alone in trying to get the right matchups and the right plan together to counteract the Panthers, for one, who despite having given up 88 points over their last 3 games have scored 60 over their last 2. Those 2 games were wins on the road over defending Super Bowl champion New England and Detroit. Before the Panthers arrived in New England, Patriots coach Bill Belichick called dynamic Panthers quarterback Cam Newton the 2015 NFL MVP, public enemy number 1. This was a tribute, not a criticism. Schwartz feels the same way, and for good reason. Newton can and often does succeed against opponents who execute everything the exact right way. They can blanket his receivers and force him to hold the ball longer than he wants. Then their pass rush can get to him and even hit him. But unlike any of the other quarterbacks they've faced during their 3-game winning streak, that doesn't necessarily mean the play is over. In fact, it may just be getting started. There's so many quarterbacks that can buy time and be able to make throws, Schwartz said. But probably more, obviously more so, with a guy like Cam is that just because you have a free runner doesn't mean you can get him on the ground, so you can't anticipate that as a cover guy. But I think that the thing that you have to take into account is he can sit back there and rip it out of the pocket. This is not schoolyard football. He can sit back there and throw as pure as anybody in the NFL. But he also has the ability, when it does break down, to be able to create. So not only do you have to cover the timing of the route and the reception point of the route, but you do have to plaster, and our rush needs to do a good job eliminating places so that he can step up. Our blitz needs to do a good job of putting him on the clock. And when we have opportunities, we got to get him on the ground. That's easier said than done. There's a lot of people that have free runners, free people in the open field, and he has the ability to make guys miss. That's always been a skill set of his. However, the Eagles, for one, counter with an emerging playmaker of their own at the same position in second-year wonder Carson Wentz. Wentz is in command of an offense that has the best third-down conversion rate, 53.4%, in the NFL. Often that kind of success is tied to how well the team does on first and second downs. Not necessarily so with Wentz and the Eagles, who convert third and longs with almost equal proficiency. On third and 10 or longer, they have converted 11 of 26 times for an NFL best 42.3%. What all of this points to is that Wentz is basically unflappable. Not to mention exceptionally bright. Coach Doug Peterson and offensive coordinator Frank Wright have given him the freedom to make changes at the line. In Peterson's words, it's a kind of what Peyton Manning has done in his career type of thing. That's not too shabby, especially when you consider Wentz's 11-10 in the first 21 games of his career, compared to Manning's 6-15. What's more, Wentz actually has rushed for more yards, 108, and averaged more yards per carry, 4.2, than his Carolina counterpart, 93.1. Wentz will be up against it in this game, however. The Eagles could be without their top offensive and defensive linemen. Right tackle Lane Johnson suffered a concussion in last Sunday's game and wasn't able to practice Monday or Tuesday. Defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, calf, practiced fully on Tuesday, but told reporters he was still unsure about whether he'd even make the trip to Carolina. Still, it's a Thursday night game, and anything can happen.